I lost my first child and I was also arrested a few months ago. I was involved in a case that involved a company that I was working for. For people to understand me and a little bit of the case or just everything I've been going through, let me take you back to a little bit of my background. So my degree and my background is in digital communication. And while I was in college, I started working in TV stations. I did news for my college. I was involved in news in high school as well, not as much then. I realized that I love the behind the scenes and in front of the scenes of anything digital. I thought I should try the behind the scenes, but going into corporate. So I got into the corporate world right after college. Bear with me, everything I'm telling you will make sense in a bit. I also didn't love corporate as much as I thought I did, but I liked a good amount of it. So I started working for private companies as a contractor. Would contract me to teach them about the digital space. When an opportunity came to move back to Kenya, which is something I always wanted to do, also become a director in digital communications or the media space and marketing in general, I jumped at the chance because I was like, that's what I want to do anyway. Like that's my path and that's something different. I felt like professionally, I've challenged myself in so many ways, but this was an avenue I'd never really gone into, especially in Kenya. I was born in Kenya, but raised in the US. So I didn't have that like experience professionally in Kenya. So I thought it'd be a nice challenge. Since I have social media experience and I have the corporate background experience, I would fill the role as a marketing director. I didn't own the school. My position was a marketing director. I was in charge of everything that has to do with advertising for the school. Marketing on social media, and sometimes I took that role myself. Media planning, registration of students, all those things I was in charge of. Because I also personally advertised for the school, I was seen as the face of the school. Even though my job is marketing director, and that's what I've always said. In any video that you've ever watched, that I've ever created, I said I'm the marketing director. But I understand the confusion because when you say director, it sounds like an executive director, which is very different. Fast forward, some things come out about the school. And I understand how it was easy to come after me because I'm the one the face that's been seen everywhere. But if you looked at all the documents everywhere, my name is not on there as an owner of any school. But when I tell you the last few months, the majority of last year was probably the hardest year of my life. When everything came out in Kenya specifically, right? This may not have been seen in other places of the world, but in Kenya specifically, I was labeled a scammer. I can't even tell you the amount of blogs. I had to like fight people. And what people didn't know when all of this came out is I was pregnant. So when all of these things came out, the natural person to arrest was me and the owner of the school and someone else, right? Who people thought were part of the scandal. In Kenya, which is so different than the US, you are guilty until proven innocent. While I grew up in a system that said you're innocent until proven guilty. So for months, I am interrogated, I am being bullied online. And I think one of the worst things that somebody did is I decided to change my number because I was just going through so much. Also, they had taken my phone. I had to change my number. And when I changed my number, something I didn't know was like Truecaller, which is like a caller ID app. So somebody had went and changed the caller ID, my caller ID, I didn't even know you could do this. Truecaller, by the way, is something you should work on. So someone had went and changed it to Yvonne Scammer. So whenever I called anyone that didn't have my number, it just read as Yvonne Scammer. For months, I had no idea. On top of that, they were I couldn't even come on social media because I was deemed as like this monster, like this person that's scamming all these people. Like I went out with my cousins one time and this person was like, we don't want you around me, you're a freaking scammer. And then students, and then I dealt with parents and people online. You know, it was just so much. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody's prepared to deal with that level of everything coming at you at once while you're growing a person. And when I said is because my body just couldn't deal with all of the stress and I lost my child. I didn't really have the time to mourn because I still had to deal with so many things professionally that I had to put my personal things to the side just so I can deal with all of these other things. Just from what I've said about me professionally, there's no way the professional side of me, after working for so many companies, $1 million companies, big companies, TV companies, I would not jeopardize my professional career for one company. I wouldn't do that. That's the professional side of me. The human side of me, I love people. And if you know, I've been making videos on social media for what, 5 years or a little bit longer. I've done things to help so many people, or I work and I operate from a place of love. Like, that's where I operate from. I also operate from my heart. And some things I'm having to learn that I can't operate from my heart all the time. It's a big lesson I've had to learn with people and just in professional. I got depressed and I just had to take a break from social media. I had to take a break from just life in general after I dealt with everything else. And finally, I was proven innocent because you just couldn't find proof that I had anything to do with anything, right? Other than doing my job. Most of last year, I didn't post much. In that time, I took time to find myself again because I'd gotten lost in someone else's vision. I'd also gotten lost with just everything that was happening. There was just so much noise. And my own personal noise was getting muted. I came here to make a difference. You know, I was really passionate about my job. I was really passionate about my calling as a person. I was really passionate about, you know, just my calling in life. And that's one of the reasons I moved to Kenya, and I lost all of that. But just to close this off, overall, I've learned so much about myself. I took a break, I healed, or I'm still healing. You don't necessarily ever heal from losing a child, right? It's something that's kind of with you all the time, but I am healing. I've found love again, you know, I found myself professionally. I found me again, you know, my happiness again. And in that time, while I was taking that break, the best thing was I was working on my own personal brand, right? My press-on nails, I've showed them here so much. And I was able to rebuild another company that's just mine. I think I'm also making this video, one, to say that I'm no longer a part of the company anymore. I haven't been since last year in late July. I just hadn't said anything because I was waiting for things to blow over, and I couldn't say anything because I was still part of a case. Just advice for anyone. Be careful about who you associate yourself with. Be careful about what company you represent, and make sure if you're gonna get in trouble for it, if that company is gonna be involved in anything, at least own it. You know what I mean? Like, at least own it. Don't be the face of a company that you do not own. At least not the way that I was, right? You can do commercials, you can do ads for companies, but don't be the face, the sole person of the face of the company the way I was, if you don't own it yourself. Because if some things in the back end are not going the way they're supposed to go, you will be at fault. People will look at you as a person that brought so much pain to them. The school is still going on. I have no animosity. I just chose to move on with my life and pursue other things professionally and personally. And for everybody that's been so loving and understanding and amazing through this process, I really appreciate you. This has been a journey. Best believe I have learned so many things through this journey. I am a way better person through it. I am as tough as nails now. You know, a baby girl has been to jail. You know, I've been interrogated. I've been arrested. I've lost a child. I've gone through so much in a few months, you know, but I went to therapy, may I add, that it created this other person within me. This other person that maybe I had to go through all that to become this person that has all these things to achieve. Anyways, to everybody that this video may hurt, that wasn't my intention. My intention is just to say what's in my heart and to finally speak up and not be so quiet about things. Okay, bye.